So, in this session, we will discuss the remaining portion of the dermatology that were the hyperpigmented and hypopigmented or the pigmentary disorders. So, let's move on to the topics. So, topic is the we were discussing about the hyperpigmented or hyperpigmentary disorders. Hyperpigmentation. Hyperpigmentation. In the hyperpigmentation, we discuss the different kinds of the nevi, nevus of Ota, nevus of I2, Mongolian spot, and also discuss the melasma. Okay, that were the dermal and some were the epidermal. So let's move on to the next one. So today we'll discuss about the congenital hyperpigmented lesions. So congenital hyperpigmented lesion. These are the congenital. So name is indicating. So congenital mean they are present at the birth and appear with age. So name is indicating that these are congenital but hyperpigmented. So present at birth and appear with age because these are congenital but hyperpigmented lesions. So these are the congenital, so they are present at birth and appear with the age. But with the age, there are some changes will happen with them. What are these changes that will happen with age? They will try to become more verrucous, so they tend to become more verrucous. Verrucous means rough. So with the age, these congenital hyperpigmented lesions they tend to become verrucous. So they are present at birth and appear with age, and with age they tend to become more verrucous. Verrucous means they will become more and more rough with the age. They will become more hairy, verrucous, hairy, and shape will change. They will become more cribriform in shape. Okay, so this is the feature of the congenital hyperpigmented lesions. So actually these are congenital. They appear at the birth or present at birth, but with the age they tend to become verrucous. They tend to become hairy. They tend to become more and more cribriform in shape. Clear? So with the age there are some other changes with of this one. What are the next changes? There are the some bathing trunk nevi. What is that? Bathing or the bathing, what you can call it, trunk nevi. So we have studied that nevus is the cluster of melanocytes. So for the new joiners, I am going to repeat again. Topic of the discussion is the hyperpigmentation. In this hyperpigmentation, we are going to discuss the congenital hyperpigmented lesions. So these are present at birth because these are congenital and then appear with age, and along with age they tend to become more verrucous, more rough, more hairy, and also cribriform in shape. These congenital hyperpigmented lesions they tend to become bathing trunk nevi. What is the bathing trunk nevi? Nevi mean cluster of the melanocytes. What is that? Nevi we have discussed. Nevus is the singular and nevi are the plural. So when melanocytic nevi are the clusters of the melanocytes in the child. So here is the when melanocytic nevi are the melanocytic cluster in child tend to become giant, bigger in size, tend to become a giant. What does it mean? When the melanocytic cluster or melanocytic nevi in the child tend to become a giant. Giant mean involves most or involves huge body surface area. Huge body surface area. It means when these melanocytic lesions are present on huge body surface area, we call them bathing trunk nevi. So again repeating, what are the bathing trunk nevi? So bathing or bathing trunk nevi, we have discussed in the previous lecture. Nevi is the plural, nevus is singular, and nevus is the cluster of the melanocytes. So when melanocytic nevi or cluster of the melanocytes in child tend to become giant, it means in these clusters involves huge body surface area of the child. It means when this cluster of the melanocyte is present on large surface area of the child, we call them bathing trunk nevi. It means maximum part of the body have the hyperpigmentation. But this bathing trunk nevi has the higher risk to turn into malignant melanoma. So they have the higher risk to turn into malignant melanoma. Who have the higher risk to turn into the malignant melanoma? Bathing trunk nevi. So what is the malignant melanoma? So name is indicating. So malignant melanoma is due to the malignant proliferation of the melanocyte. What is the malignant melanoma? It is the malignant proliferation of melanocyte. That is known as malignant melanoma. Mela mean melanocytes, noma mean cancer or malignant proliferation of the melanocyte. Again repeating, bathing trunk nevi, when the melanocytic nevi in the child tend to become giant, involve the huge body surface area. So this bathing trunk nevi has the higher risk to turn into malignant melanoma. Malignant melanoma means malignant proliferation of the melanocytes. There are the some feature of the malignant melanoma. So feature of malignant, okay, melanoma. So malignant melanoma has the first feature, they have the lesions and lesions will be asymmetrical. What will be lesions? Lesions of the malignant melanoma will be asymmetrical. When Bethany trunk nevi turn into malignant melanoma, then its lesions will become asymmetrical. But before turning into the malignant melanoma, the lesions were rounded. Before turning into malignant melanoma, the lesions were rounded. But now, in the malignant melanoma, lesions will become asymmetrical. It means rounded lesions are going to become asymmetrical. Rounded hyperpigmented lesions will turn into asymmetrical when they become malignant melanoma. Second feature, so borders of the lesions will be irregular borders of lesions, because this is the melanoma cancer, so it will become with irregular borders. Okay, and the color is the variable. Some parts of the body will be white in color, hypopigmented, and some parts will be hyperpigmented. So in the malignant melanoma, there is no specification for the hyperpigmentation. Some parts are hyperpigmented and some parts are hypopigmented. So its diameter will be more than 6 millimeter. So diameter of malignant melanoma will be more than 6 millimeter. So diameter will be more than 6 millimeter, and last feature is the lesions will be elevated. Lesions will be elevated. But we have discussed most of the hyperpigmented lesions are patches. Okay, but here in this case lesions will be raised. You can easily palpate because these are elevated from the skin. So these are the five features of the malignant melanoma: asymmetrical lesions, irregular border, variable color, more than 6 millimeter in size, and elevated lesions. Clear? So how you treat the congenital hyperpigmented lesions? Okay, treatment of the congenital hyperpigmented, because treatment is essential, because they have the more risk for converting into the malignant melanoma. So just treatment is the plastic surgery. What is that? You will do the plastic surgery to avoid from converting into the malignant melanoma, because the risk of malignant melanoma. So what will you do? You will do the plastic surgery due to the risk of the malignant melanoma. So plastic surgery is only treatment because it is a congenital. So you can remove with the help of plastic surgery. Okay. Next one is the lentigens. Total, how many students are here? Total 58 students. It's not a good attendance record. At least 80 students should be present, at least. But I am tired to again repeat it same thing again and again. So you are responsible for office. So how can I do? What can I do for your attendance? So here is the next one is the lentigens. It is the hyperpigmented lesions is the lentigens. So lentigen is due to increased localized number of the melanocytes. So it is due to increase or raised number of melanocyte. So when we have discussed that number of the melanocytes are fixed in each and every individual. Here we are discussing it is due to increased number of the melanocytes. In the initial of the lectures of the dermatology, we said that number of the melanocytes are fixed. Only melanogenesis phenomena can increase, melanosomes can increase, or melanin production can increase. But number of the melanocytes, they are fixed. But in the lentigens, we are calling that increased number of the melanocytes. So melanocytes can only increase in condition that is the cancerous condition. Clear? Are the malignancy, are the malignant proliferation of the melanocytes. So therefore, this in lentigen is associated with. It means lentigens will only happen or associated with lentigens is associated with the condition that is the PJS, Peutz-Jeghers syndrome. We have discussed this syndrome in the detail. That is the Peutz-Jeghers. Okay, you can admit it. So Peutz-Jeghers syndrome. So this lentigens are associated with the PGS, Peutz-Jeghers syndrome. So what is the Peutz-Jeghers syndrome? Peutz-Jeghers syndrome is the non-cancerous growth of the GIT, especially that is called as hematomatous polyps of the GIT. So Peutz-Jeghers syndrome is the non, right to say the lentigens melanocytes. Okay, here is a question. Sir, so will it be right to say the lentigens melanocytes will be undergo the hyperplasia? Definitely, number of the melanocytes will increase. Okay, so here is the Peutz-Jeghers syndrome is the non-cancerous growth, especially that is called as hematomatous polyp. Hematomatous polyps of GIT. So when you feel there is a perioral lentigens with the stomach, okay, I'm going to discuss again. Maybe it will be very clear to you. So when you look at the here is the face or the lips, upper lip, and here is the lower lip of the patient. So when you look at the lips of the patient, there will be a hyperpigmented perioral lentigens. Perioral lentigens and with the perioral lentigens and plus you will find the there will be a GI polyps. GI polyps mean there is a hematomatous polyps of the stomach and intestine. Polyps of the stomach plus intestine. Okay, so when you will find the perioral lentigens are the perioral hyperpigmentation along with there are the GI polyps. It means polyps of the stomach and the intestine that is most commonly can seen with the PJS, Peutz-Jeghers syndrome. Clear? So it means lentigens is associated. It is the due to the increased number of the melanocytes. When the number of the melanocytes will increase, definitely around the lips, around the oral orifice or the mucosa, there is a dark pigmentation. Okay, some dark points or dark spots around the lips. So that is due to the increased number of the melanocytes. And you will also feel there will be some GI polyps, polyps around the stomach and the intestine. And these GI polyps are the non-cancerous growth are called as hematomatous polyps of the GIT. Clear? Next one is the fractals. So here is the fractals. It is the hyperpigmented epidermal. So freckles are the due to increased localized melanogenesis. So freckles are due localized, not all the parts of the body, due to increased localized melanogenesis. When the melanogenesis will increase in some parts of the body, some parts of the skin. So when the melanogenesis will increase, definitely melanin production will increase. When the melanin will increase, it will impart a black color to the skin because it is a epidermal. So it will impart a black color to the skin. Normally it happens on its own. Most of the time, freckles are not associated with any other disease. Most of the time, it happens normally. Freckles happens normally, but sometimes these are associated with the KP, xeroderma pigmentosum. Xeroderma pigmentosum. Okay, xeroderma pigmentosum. It is the what will happen in the xeroderma pigmentosum? Actually, there is a defect in the DNA repair of the skin. You know, when in the xeroderma pigmentosum, when the patient who has the xeroderma pigmentosum, that patient will stay in the sunlight. So that patient will feel burning sensation. Why? Because due to the ultraviolet lights, the DNA that has damage will not repair. So damaged DNA will not repair properly. So due to that damaging DNA unrepairing conditions, when the person will stand in the ultraviolet light, so that patient will feel severe sunburn after only few minutes exposed to the light. Okay, and also freckles in the exposed area will be more. So which one part of your skin is exposed? Especially face. What is that? Freckle will be more common on the face because when you expose to the sun, face is the most exposed area to the sun. So again repeating, what is the xeroderma pigmentosa? Xeroderma pigmentosa is the genetic disorders. You can write it in which there is a decreased ability to repair the damaged DNA. It is a genetic disorder in which there is a decreased ability to repair the damaged DNA. When the damaged DNA will not repair, so the person cannot tolerate the sunlight. So when that person will stay in the sunlight, after few minutes, that person will feel severe burn or the burning sensation, especially on the exposed area of the body. And most commonly exposed area of the body is the face. So on the face, there will be a freckle formation. That is the hyperpigmented lesions. So normally present in the skin exposed sites. So like let's if these freckles become severe, okay, again repeating. So if freckles become severe and we find squamous cell carcinoma, squamous cell carcinoma. Okay, maybe you are not clear. Squamous cell carcinoma, that is known as XP. XP mean xeroderma pigmentosa. Again repeating, what are the freckles? Freckles are due to increased localized melanogenesis. When the melanogenesis is more, melanin production is more. When the melanin production is more, skin will become black. Clear? And normally it is present normally, but there it is also associated with the xeroderma pigmentosa. So what is the xeroderma pigmentosa? It is the autosomal are the genetic defect. Okay, so it is the genetic defect in which the person has the inability to repair the DNA. Person cannot repair the DNA. So when that person will expose to the sun, then exposed area of the body, especially face, will become black. If in that black area you feel there are the some squamous cell carcinoma, then such a freckles are known as xeroderma pigmentosa. So in that freckles are the black area of the face. If you feel there are some squamous cell carcinoma, that is known as xeroderma pigmentosa. So xeroderma pigmentosa is associated with the freckles. Okay, and Peutz-Jeghers syndrome is associated with the lentigens. Okay, so these are the hyperpigmented lesions. So in the hyperpigmented lesions, we discussed the melasma, we discussed the all types of the nevus, Becker's nevus, Mongolian spot, nevus of Ota, nevus of I2, and today we discuss the congenital hyperpigmented lesions and also discuss the lentigens and freckles. So let's move on to the next part of this session, that is the hypopigmentary disorders. So here is the page number 9. Okay. So freckles, here is a question, sir. Okay, let me ask the question. So, sir, is the freckles due to increased number of the melanocyte or increased number of the melanin? Okay, I have told you freckles are due to increased melanogenesis. Keep in mind. Freckles are due to increased melanogenesis. When the melanogenesis is more, definitely melanin will be more. So it is due to increased localized melanogenesis. When the melanogenesis is more in the melanocyte, but melanocyte will be fixed. Melanocytes are not changing in the freckles, only melanogenesis is increasing. When the melanogenesis, so keep in mind this is the melanocyte. In the melanocyte, it is producing more and more melanin, more and more melanin. So that is more increased melanogenesis. Due to increased melanogenesis, melanin will be more, and that is freckles. But in the case of the lentigens, that is due to increased number of the melanocyte. Okay, so lentigens are the increased number of the melanocytes, but freckles are increased localized melanogenesis. Okay, next one is the hypopigmentary disorders. Hypopigmentary disorders. Hypo means less pigmentation. It means color of the skin will not be dark, not blue, not brown, only white. You know, whole white skin is the albinism, but when the skin, normal skin is a brownish in color or the somewhat darkish in color, but in that darkish skin there are the some white spots like this way and some white parts. So these white parts may be present on the different parts of the skin, maybe on the forehead, maybe on the scalp, maybe on the legs, lower legs, one side, both side. So that whitish patches on the skin are called as hypopigmentary disorder. Hypopigmentation means some whitish patches on the skin, normal skin. If the whole skin is on whitish in color or the non-pigmentary, that is called as albinism. Okay, so first hypopigmentary disorder is the vitiligo. Hypopigmentary disorders. So vitiligo is the autoimmune condition. It is the most common autoimmune condition. You know, in the autoimmune condition, what are synthesized antibody will be synthesized against melanocytes, against the melanocyte, and these melanocyte will be destroyed, and such an antibody that will destroy the melanocytes are known as anti-melanocytic antibody. So name of this antibody is the anti-melanocytic antibody. Clear? Anti-melanocytic antibody. So vitiligo is most common autoimmune condition. Antibody will produced against the melanocytes, and that will destroy the melanocytes, and such antibody that will destroy the melanocytes are known as anti-melanocytic antibody. Okay, so it is due to the family history. 15% of the time it is due to the family history. So next one is the types of the vitiligo. Types. So most common, there are two types of the vitiligo. One is the segmental vitiligo, and other is the non-segmental. Name is indicating segment, portion, some portion. So segmental vitiligo and the non-segmental vitiligo. So segmental mean when, where is the nerve segment? Nerve segment mean the parts of the skin that is specifically innervated by the nerves. We call them the dermatomes. Okay, so this segmented vitiligo is the unilateral. It is present on the one side, and also specific nerve innervated area. We call it along the dermatomes. Dermatomes mean the part of the skin that is innervated by the specific nerves, that is the dermatomes. Okay, so this is the unilateral, segmental is the unilateral, and the dermatomes. There is some viral infections like the herpes, okay, herpes zoster virus. So this is the HZ virus, that is also infection that is infected by the, this virus remains in the nerves, and then it will go into the ganglion and then express to the skin. So it is also expressed to the dermatomes, and there will be white patches of the skin. Clear? So that is the vitiligo is the segmental, that will be a unilateral and along with the dermatomes. But non-segmental are again divided in two categories. One is the localized and generalized. So localized mean local part of the skin, and generalized mean maximum part of the skin. So localized is subdivided into the local parts of the skin. So it is subdivided into the mucosal and focal. Non-segmental divided into the localized, generalized. Localized is subdivided into mucosal and the focal. So mucosal mean only present into the mucosa. when vitiligo is only restricted to the mucosa, that is mucosal. When it is restricted to the small area of the skin, small area of the skin, that is the focal. There are the principal foci or the focal points in the brain, focal points on the ventricles of the heart. So these are the different foci or the small areas. Next one is the generalized. What is the generalized type of the vitiligo? Generalized vitiligo. So I think screen is not clear. Okay, next one is the generalized vitiligo. So generalized vitiligo is again, it has the different types. First one is the vitiligo vulgaris. Vitiligo means hypopigmented lesion that is most common. So it is the most common, symmetrical and bilateral. Vulgaris mean common. It is a common type of the vitiligo. It is the symmetrical and bilateral. So what does it mean? Symmetrical and bilateral. Here is the legs, one leg and other leg of the patient, knee joint, and this is the thigh. If there is a white patches on this leg, same white patches will be present on this leg. So it is the most common bilateral white patches on the one legs are present, same white patches will be present on the other legs. So these white patches are known as hypopigmented vitiligo, and it is a symmetrically present. It means on this leg same on this leg, not upper, same side. So symmetrically they are present and it is other generalized vitiligo is the acrofacial. Second one is the acrofacial. Name is indicating acro mean hands and feet. It is present in hand and feet, and facial means face. So this hypopigmented lesions are present on hand, feet and face. Clear? Other one is the variant of acrofacial. There is a one other variant of the acrofacial, and name of that variant of the acrofacial is the lip tip type. Lip So, variant of the, we are discussing the, silent please, I have to mute your mics. So next one is the variant of the acrofacial. So variant of the acrofacial is the lip tip type. Name is indicating it is the acrofacial. It means on the face lips are involved and on the genitalia tips are involved. Okay, so in this case lips from the acrofacial, so it means lips of face will be whitish in color, and tip of penis or the genitalia. So when you feel that lips are whitish in color and the genitalia, especially male genitalia or penis is whitish in color, that is the variant of the acrofacial, and we call it tip lip tip type. Next one is the vitiligo universalis. Okay, page number 12. Here is the vitiligo Universalis. Name is indicating universalis. 12 vitiligo salis. Universalis mean it is some vitiligo that is same as the generalized or systemic type of the involvement. Whole maximum body is the whitish in color. It means so it is the whitish or hypopigmentary disorders like the systemic or the generalized type of the hypopigmentation, like the systemic or generalized type of the hypopigmentation. What does it mean? It means more than 90% skin is white in color. Universalis. Okay, it does not mean it is universal. It means more than 90% skin is involved. Maximum part of the skin is involved. So when there is any systemic or the generalized, we call it it means maximum part of the body is involved. So you when the maximum part of the body or skin is involved, so it is associated with the autoimmune disorders. Autoimmune disorders. AD disorder. Which one type of the autoimmune disorders? Like the Hashimoto thyroiditis, Hashimoto thyroiditis. It means it is autoimmune disease of the thyroid glands. It is due to the diabetes mellitus. It is due to the pernicious anemia. Pernicious anemia. What is the pernicious anemia? And it is due to the alopecia areata. Alopecia areata. So these are the autoimmune disorders, and these are due to this autoimmune disorder there could be a vitiligo universalis. So vitiligo universalis is more than 90% of the skin is involved. It means more than 90% skin has the hypopigmented lesions, and it is associated with autoimmune disorders, especially Hashimoto thyroiditis, diabetes mellitus, pernicious anemia, and alopecia areata. So, what is the pernicious anemia? So, anemia is the deficiency of the red blood cells, hematocrits. So, but what is the pernicious anemia? Danish, you joined now. Pernicious anemia. Yes, yeah, that is due to the absence of the intrinsic factor. When the intrinsic factor is not present, then especially with multivitamin or the vitamin B12 or the B complexes will not be absorbed properly, and their function will not be good. And next one is the alopecia. Alopecia means loss of hair. Ereta means when the loss of the hair is only patchy loss of hair. Patchy. Okay, so patchy loss of hair, that is the alopecia areata. Clear? It is also autoimmune disease on the skin. Some patches of the loss of the hair you will see, that is the alopecia areata. So next one is the how will you diagnose the vitiligo? It means on the basis of the medical history, how will you diagnose it? Most commonly on the basis of the symptoms. On basis of symptoms, how will you diagnose it? So which one symptom you should know the symptoms. Which one are the symptoms, and then knowing the symptom you will make some your opinion, and that opinion is the prognosis. On the basis of the medical symptoms you will make your opinion, and such opinion is known as diagnosis or prognosis. Okay, so first one is the Leukotrachea. Leukotrachea. Leuko mean white, trachea mean hair. When you feel that hair, especially hair follicles, when you feel that in the alopecia areata, there are some hairs are white, along with the white hair the follicles are also going to be white, so that is the leukotrichia. It is the most important prognosis or the symptom. Other one is the, it is a long standing type. Long standing type, it will not heal automatically, cover in 1 or 2 months. It is a long standing type, and the lesions are present on the bony prominences. So lesions, white lesions, especially hypopigmented lesions, white lesions will be present on bony prominence. When the lesions are present on the bony prominence, especially bone part, so that are also white in color, so it is a suggestive for the vitiligo. And also present on the acrofacial. When the lesions are acrofacial, on hands and feet and face, on the bony prominence, all these lesions with the white hair follicles, so that is the very strong symptoms and the prognosis for the hypopigmentary disorder, especially vitiligo. Clear? So along with the vitiligo, there is a one phenomenon that will describe the vitiligo from the, because vitiligo is the autoimmune disease. Okay, and there are some infections that have the similar infestation. So phenomena is known as Kibner phenomena. Kibner phenomenon. So someone studied at the Kibner phenomena and someone studied at the Kobner phenomena. So what you call it? It is the Kibner or the Kobner phenomena. Other name of this Kibner or Kobner phenomena is the isomorphic. Isomorphic phenomena. So it is very simple. Iso means same, morphic means morphology. The around the infections or the infected side, there are the some lesions that are have the same morphology like the infected lesion. I give you first example. Here is the lesion. This is the your arms. Maybe this is your forearm. On this forearm, this is the white area. Okay, here is the lesion. So when you scratch this lesion, maybe this is the wart or the viral infection. So when you scratch with the nail, this viral wart and scratch with the nail. So when you will scratch this viral wart with the nail, some virus will go into your nail, and after that you will scratch the nearby area, this one area, with the same nail. And a nearby area, if they develop the same lesions, whitish lesions, so these whitish lesions are not due to the direct trauma. So these lesions are due to the reinfestation or due to the your scratching power. So that is known as isomorphic phenomena or Kobner phenomena. Keep in mind, here is the trauma due to the virus. So this is the traumatic lesion. Middle lesion is the traumatic lesion that is due to the direct viral or the viral wart. When you scratch this direct lesion or the traumatic lesion with the nails, so then after that you scratch the nearby area, and due to scratching the nearby area also develop the same lesions like the traumatic lesions. We call it the Kebner phenomena is present are the isomorphic phenomena. Iso means same, morphic mean morphology, phenomena mean lesions that have the same morphology as the traumatic lesion. So out of these three lesions, middle is the traumatic lesion. Traumatic lesions are those that are directly infested by. So this Kibner phenomena is, it can be true or it can be false. So KP, Kibner phenomena, are isomorphic phenomena. It can be true and it can be false. False and true. What are the conditions where it is true and what are the conditions where it is false? So Kibner phenomena is always true in the immunological mediated conditions. It is true in the immunological mediated conditions. All these pigmentary disorders that are the immunologically mediated. So first one immunologically mediated is the vitiligo, because in the vitiligo there will be autoimmune disease. Immunological response will start against the melanocytes. Same immunological mediated disease is the psoriasis. Same immunological mediated disease is the lichen planus. So in lichen planus, skin will be blue, psoriasis, psoriatic lesions, and the vitiligo. So all these three conditions have the true Kibner phenomena because these are the immunological mediated diseases. So when the disease is the immunological mediated, then Kobner phenomena or Kibner phenomena or isomorphic phenomena will be true. But when isomorphic lesions are formed around the traumatic lesion, but they not due to the immunological mediated. So that is due to the autoinoculation of the infection. Due to infection, very simple, is the due to infection, not a immunological mediated response. When isomorphic lesions are formed around the traumatic lesion due to infection, and we call it because of auto-inoculation of infection. Auto-inoculation of infection. What is the auto-inoculation of the infection? I tell you what is the auto. Auto means same inoculation of infection. It means same infection will occur nearby area. I tell you, here is the your head, neck, and chest. So you have taken some cells from this part, from the trunk of your body, taken out some cells, and then modify these cells, and then reinfest these cells, reinfest. So the infection due to the infestation is the auto-inoculation. It means these are the your own body cells. You have taken them, remove the some own body cells, modify them, and then reinfest them. So such infection that is called as auto-inoculation of infection. I gave you the example here. Here is the viral infection in the middle. Here is the hypopigmentation due to the viral infection. We call it viral wart. So when you scratch it, some of the virus will go into nail, and then when you scratch the nearby area, so the nearby area will develop the same morphic lesions. But these same morphic lesions are due to infection. So such morphic lesions are false Kibner phenomena. Which one Kibner phenomena? False Kibner phenomena. So false Kibner phenomena is due to infection. True Kobner phenomena is due to immunological response. When there is an immunological response, and that will make this true, Koebner phenomena. When there is an infection, it will make the false Koebner phenomena. But Koebner phenomena will be present in both immunological and the infections mediated. So what are the which one diseases have the false Koebner phenomena? Especially warts. Viral warts have the false Koebner phenomena because it is the viral infection. Molluscums, molluscum contagiosum. That is the infections and that is the false Koebner are the isomorphic phenomena. So now you will tell me the vitiligo. When you feel there is a vitiligo on, especially vitiligo vulgaris. Maybe I will explain it more clearly. Here is the vitiligo vulgaris. So page number 16. This is the legs. Here is the other leg, knee joint. Okay. Here is the white patches on the legs, white patches on this leg. So that is the vitiligo vulgaris. Clear? So it is the immunological response, and you will feel in the nearby area there are the some again white color patches are forming. That is due to the immunological response, not due to your scratching. Okay, so that is the traumatic lesion, main lesion, and around that lesion there are the same lesions are forming due to the immunological response. So that is the true Koebner phenomena. If it is the viral infection and you scratch it, then nearby area you also scratch it because there will be itching in the nearby area, pruritic in the nearby area. So you will scratch it, and due to scratch, there will be a formation of the same lesions like the traumatic lesion, and that is the Koebner phenomena is present, but that is false Koebner phenomena. Clear? So next one is the treatment of the vitiligo. How will you treat the vitiligo treatment? So first is the topical steroids. Topical steroids. Okay. So which one steroids you will use it topically? Especially tacrolimus. Especially tacrolimus. How the tacrolimus work? Tacrolimus is the calcineurin inhibitors. It is calcineurin inhibitor. Tacrolimus you can use it. Pimecrolimus. B is the pimecrolimus. It is also LIMUS, sorry, pimecrolimus. So you can use a tacrolimus and the pimecrolimus. So these are the topically steroids. Pimecrolimus. Okay. Next one is the systemic steroids. Second line of the treatment, you can use it the systemic steroids. Systemic steroids. That you steroids that you can use the systemic. So mostly in the dermatology we studied the steroids. Still in the neonatology we are also discussing the steroids, betamethasone, dexamethasone, and so on for the lung maturation. So which one systemic steroids can be used, especially azathioprine? Azathioprine, and you can use it levamisole, levamisole and the levamisole, levamisole and azathioprine. And third one is the phototherapy. Third line of the treatment is the phototherapy. You can treat it with the help of the light, photo light. So what is the how can you use the light for the treatment purpose? So first one light is the PUA. Second type of the light is the PUA sol, and third type of the light is the NB UVB. I will discuss what is meant by PUA. PUA means Sorelins followed by UVA light. It means P stands for the Sorelins. Sorelins. First you will give the Sorelin tablet, and then you will give the ultraviolet light A, ultraviolet light of A, then UVA. Sorelin tablet and then UVA. What are the Sorelin tablets? Sorelin tablets are the tablets that are very sensitive to the light. So Sorelin tablets are the photosensitives. So they will bind with the DNA and increase the photosensitivity. Sorelin tablets are the photosensitive. That increase the sensitivity of the skin to the light. Photosensitive tablets. So first you will give the Sorelin tablets. It will increase the photosensitivity of the skin, and then you will expose the skin to the ultraviolet light A. Next one is the PUA sol. PUA mean you will give the Sorelin tablet, and then it is followed by the sunlight. Listen, sunlight. Sol means sunlight. P when is Sorelin and ultraviolet A of sunlight. Again repeating, P stands for the Sorelin, U ultraviolet ultraviolet A light that is present in the sunlight. It means you will expose the skin to the sunlight, and in that sunlight there is the ultraviolet A rays are the solar source. Clear? And third one is the NBUVB. UVB mean ultraviolet light B, not A. So that can be narrow band. NB mean narrow band. You know there are the different bands of light, and every band has a different wavelength. So narrow band, okay, and expose the lesion to the only 311 nanometer wavelength. Narrow band wavelength means 311 nanometer of wavelength. Expose the skin only narrow band of light. Narrow band of light means expose the skin or expose the lesion to 311 nanometer wavelength. Okay. Next one is the types. What are the types of the Sorelins? So no need to discuss the types of the Sorelins. So we are going to discuss the treatment of the vitiligo. Three type of the treatment: topical, systemic, and the phototherapy. Phototherapy mean PUA sol, and the NB UVB. PUA mean Sorelins followed by the ultraviolet A light. Sorelin ultraviolet A light of the sun source, and NB narrow band. It means expose the lesion to the 311 nanometer of the wavelength of the light. Okay. Next one is the other type of the hypopigmentation is the contact leukoderma. What is that? Contact leukoderma. Contact leukoderma. Name is indicating. Contact mean due to contact, leuko mean white and derma mean patch or skin. So it means when the skin patch will become white due to contact of some object. White skin due to the contact to the chemicals. When the skin contact with chemicals, and that part of the skin become white. So it means due to the contact of the chemical, if the skin part becomes white, known as contact leukoderma. So which one chemicals can cause contact leukoderma? Especially chemical number one is the monobenzyl ether of hydroquinone. Monobenzyl ether of hydroquinone. Second chemical is the para tertiary. Tertiary means three means tertiary. It is a chemical name. Para tertiary butyl phenol. And third chemical that will make when it contact the skin and make the skin white is the para tertiary butyl, not a phenol here, is the catechol. Catechol. So where these chemicals are present, first chemical, that is the monobenzyl ether of the hydroquinone, is present in rubber. Second chemical is the para tertiary butyl phenol, is present in adhesive. And third chemical is present in the hair dye. Okay, so some females, especially when they dye their hair, so especially forehead will contact in that chemical, and upper layer of the forehead and the hair will become white in color. And other one is the adhesive. When some females, it is most common in the females. Why? Because in the cosmetics, there are the multiple types of the adhesives. As if the adhesive is the para tertiary butyl phenols, so females use the bindi, female use different kinds of the jewelry and the makeup or cosmetic things, so that make the skin on the specific contact area whitish in color. So and third one is the when you wear the slipper that are the made up of the rubber. Okay, when you wear the shoes, when your shoes are made up of the rubber, in the rubber that is the monobenzyl ether of the hydroquinone, and that part of your feet that is encased in the rubber feet, that will become white in color. Not a permanent white, only white in color due to the contact of the monobenzyl ether of the hydroquinone. So most of the time you have observed when you wear the rubber shoes, so specific part of the feet become whitish in color. So that is due to the monobenzyl ether of the hydroquinone, known as contact leukoderma. Second, other conditions of the hypopigmentation is the palbadism. Okay, page number 20, I think. Yes, page number 20 is the palbadism. Palbadism. Okay, so what is this palbadism? It is a genetic condition and it is autosomal dominant. So it is autosomal dominant genetic condition in which melanocytes are absent. What is that? Melanocytes are absent because it's genetically absent. Melanocytes are absent. So it is a genetic condition. So melanocytes are absent at are from or since birth. Okay, so melanocytes are absent like the vitiligo, and lesions are white, but these are genetic lesions. So genetic conditions. So lesions will be white since birth, but these lesions will be not absent on the localized part of the body. These will be absent are the white patches on the localized area. Localized area. Again repeating, maybe you are confused. So please silent, please. So here is it is the autosomal dominant genetic condition. In this genetically defect, melanocytes are absent. And melanocytes are absent like the vitiligo. In the vitiligo, melanocytes are absent. Okay. But these melanocytes are absent at birth. But these melanocytes are absent at birth. Not whole the skin melanocytes are absent. Only localized area of the skin, these melanocytes are absent. Most commonly, these melanocytes are absent at forehead or the frontal scalp. So these are absent at forehead or frontal scalp. So it means forehead will be white and frontal scalp will be white with the hair follicles of that side will be white because frontal scalp is white. So hair follicles of the frontal scalp will be white in color. Okay, so we call them palbadism. Okay, so this is the conditions of the hypopigmentary disorders. Still, other hypopigmentary disorders are remaining. So here I am going to conclude my lecture. Okay, because today I have the two lecture, one lecture with your juniors for the medical imaging. Too much tired. So here I am going to conclude my lecture. So still things are remaining. Images, I will make the images like a PPT form and share into the group in 1 or 2 days because tomorrow we have a class for the pediatrics and next day we have the class for the ophthalmology and also I have the makeup exam. I think tomorrow I have the makeup exam also. So I need 2 days are spare, then I will make the PPT and also I will make some cases from the hyperpigmentation, hypopigmentation and the some images of the hypopigmentation. I shown you the all the images of the hyperpigmentation. Clear? So in 1 or 2 days when I will get free, I will make the image of the hypopigmentation, cases of the hypopigmentation and share in the group and you have to give the answer and also identify the image of the hypopigmentation like the vitiligo and there are the some specific terms of the hypopigmentations are still untouched. I will also add on that terms on the slides or the PPT. Okay, so here I'm going to take the attendance. Want to check how many students are there? 63. Abdul Latif.